So welcome again, class, and we will be discussing question 4 of the 2022 Employee Resourcing paper. Question 4. As a human resource manager of Kwambona Technologies Limited, explain the contents of a job description. What is contained in the job description? Number 1, the job title. Job description, we are basically trying to explain much about the job, what the job entails. And it's part of job analysis. This is what will be used in the recruitment process when we are seeking potential job, the job applicants. So they need to understand the job, and you need to do it right so that you get the right person. Otherwise, if you don't get it right here, you are likely to get the wrong person, and you will waste a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of, and there will be just a lot. So let's get it right. And that's why we are asking this question. Explain the contents of a job. What should be contained in a job description? Anything that will help that potential applicant to understand what the job is all about and assess himself if he's able to do the job or not. So that he only applies when he feels that he has what it takes and the capability to do the job. So the job title, very important, whether it's finance manager, finance accounts assistant, that is very important, and we can talk of the job title and number if we have the numbers also allocated to those jobs. Then the job purpose. What is the overall purpose of the job? Then what are the roles and responsibilities of this job? Roles and responsibilities. What duties will this person be carrying out? They should be clearly explained in the job description. Then the report to kind of a structure. Report to whom will you be reporting? That is the accountability. To whom will this person be reporting to? Should also be contained in the job description so that the person understands the ins and outs of the job before he can make that step of applying for that job. So report to, whom will you be reporting to? And then the working conditions. Working conditions, how will they be? Are there any special requirements for this job working conditions? If there are, you need to state here so that you don't waste and go through the entire process before you realize that this person maybe cannot work in this condition. So it's always good that you state the working conditions beforehand so that the person makes an informed decision on whether to apply or not. Sometimes you might also want to talk about the pay range. That is the salary range or pay range. It could be very important for this person to make a decision whether to apply for that job or not to apply for the job. The range is always good. You may not state the exact salary, but the range, that this is the range, so that somebody doesn't go through all that process, and you also don't waste organization's time and resources going through all that process, and then at the very end you don't agree on salaries. At least you can set this, the range, so that all those who feel that the range is within their they can possibly go ahead and apply the job. I've talked about the reporting relationship. Possibly, if the job requires hours or shifts, you can also state that this job will be done in shifts. That is fundamental, and it's very important that you mention at the very beginning. Not go through the process and then towards the end you ambush somebody that this job will be done in shifts. No, that is not okay, and you might end up wasting a lot of time. So it's always good that you describe the job in its entirety so that whoever wants to apply for that job applies knowing what he is applying for. The scope of the job, though the scope can still come back to the roles and responsibilities, it depends on how you are going to look at it. And if we have any special features of the job, for example, if the job involves working on a weekend, this is a special feature. And so if it involves working on a weekend, state beforehand so that whoever wants to apply for this job will apply knowing that this job calls for working during the weekends. Pick any 5 of these and you'll be good to go. You'll be good to get your 10 marks. But remember also to explain. You state and explain, state and explain, state and explain. Don't just state. If you state 5 points, you get 5 marks. You lose 5. Let's move to the next one. Analyze the strategies of human resource manager can use to enhance supply of labor. Analyze the strategies a human resource manager can use to enhance supply of labor. Supply of labor are people who are willing and able to apply for jobs in your organization. It is the organization that demands for labor, but the potential employees, that is supply of labor. Are they willing and able to work for your organization? If they are willing and able to work for your organization, we say that there's a high supply. There are so many people who are willing and able to work for your organization. Then we'll say that there's high supply of labor. So what are some of the strategies that a human resource manager can use to improve or to enhance the supply of labor? Number one, you should invest in reputation of the company. And how do you invest in reputation of the company? Have retention, good retention policies, good attractive retention policies. Invest in attracting these employees. Invest in attracting them. Have very good retention policy, and retention policy calls for good compensation. It calls for good working conditions. It calls for things like training and development. It calls for things like career growth and succession planning. It calls for enough time for recruitment, so that we don't just recruit in a hurry. Enough time for recruitment stroke sourcing. And something about this sourcing should be the rightful sourcing. Don't just throw it anywhere. It should be a strategic sourcing. Do research. Know where people you are looking for are, so that you go to that place where you are likely to get more. That is a strategy that can be used to enhance the supply of labor, so that you get a lot of people, applicants, and from that mass, then you can select just the few that you want. These are just the gimmicks, the tactics that you are going to play to make sure that you have the numbers that you possibly will wish to have. Make sure you have job security, or security of tenure. We are talking about like when you are employing. Consider this permanent and pensionable, compared to these contracts. And sometimes even these contracts are the contracts that you keep on renewing after every 3 months, No, people will not want to work in a place where their future is not so certain. So you can consider even going for permanent and pensionable employment. When people come into your organization, they are there to stay. They are assured of job security. Those are the gimmicks, the strategies that you put in place to make sure that people like your organization. And when you possibly ask for potential job applicants through recruitment, they will come out in large numbers. That is the supply of labor that we are talking about. So I think these are quite a good number. Of course, we are talking things like teamwork. We talk about things like diversity and inclusivity, where people belong, and the feeling of belonging, like a family. There's ties, having very good relationships, not just within the organization, but also with trade unions, with other stakeholders. These are things that and of course, productivity, high level productivity. If you don't work on your productivity level, chances are that you will start delaying the salaries. And when you delay the salaries, who will want to work with you in that organization? These are so many points. All these are actually points. Just pick any 5 points, explain them well, and you are good to go. Just pick any 5, you will be good to go. And make sure you explain. So that is, we are already done with question 4. Let's meet in the next question. Thank you.